Aloha, friends of the light. So, a lot of things are going on, and I'm really contemplating pleasure and my embodied journey into following my higher self in a way. Like, there's many different ways to explain it. Like this inner being that we have, that is not our mind and not this conceptualized idea and behavioral pattern that comes from just this construct of who you have to be in this reality, and instead really uncovering who you actually are. And it's what some people call following your bliss, following your joy, or being in alignment with yourself, or really following your trajectory, your path in this lifetime. So it started for me many years ago as I was coming more into my body. I was doing this descent from living up here. Again, you start living here when you are following the constructs of what you have to be, all the things you think you have to be and do, and these ideas, this concept of who you are, built up by a lifetime of experiences and thoughts and belief patterns that you have created. Like, in the end, it's your creation, but you can say also it was put upon you. Like, it started from the conditioning of your parents, their belief patterns, the conditioning of this whole society, this civilization, the way the current civilization is put together. It's kind of forcing everybody down this like one stream, and some people like wake up and start asking questions and start to sense like, hey, this doesn't feel really right for me, or like, why do we do it like that? It doesn't make any sense. But there's still this like major pressure of just like following this one way that everybody follows. It's like the right way, and if you try to do some other kind of way, you feel it inside as well. You feel a lot of fear for like, there's this built up ideas and thoughts around like, this is the way, this is the right way, like you have to do it like this. You cannot survive doing it any other way. There's this idea about like following your heart, and we know it, everybody knows it, like follow your heart. But when it comes to the truth of it, like actually following your heart, it's demanding a lot of courage, because there's still this like deeply rooted belief pattern that like, can you really survive? Can you really survive following your heart? Is it possible? Like, there's this little voice like, no, it's not possible. Like, it won't work. But for me, it started very naturally, like through my body, as I was making this descent from my mind, from living out of this idea about who I was, instead like starting to come into my body and start to feel it. Like, I had to really uncover my whole emotional self. Like, I had no idea how to meet emotions, feel emotions, be with emotions, express emotions. I had this whole construct around that as well, and coming into my body was like really learning how to first just what relaxation is, like to actually be able to relax in yourself, like, and realizing how much you can't relax in yourself. Like, like in social situations with, like, if you really start to feel your body, if you really like start to uncover the sensations in your body, then you start to learn that you are tensing, you are not relaxed in almost any situation. It's like the condition of life, and this kind of constructed way we live, it makes it so unnatural. And everybody, if you start to then sense, you start to sense like how everybody's tense, how everybody's unnatural, how everybody's like uncovering their true emotions, how everybody's like feeling all this kind of very very subtle anxieties. Not like you're having a visual like a visible anxiety attack. It's like it's there underneath, like very subtle low grade anxiety, but it's everywhere, and it makes everybody really act like not themselves. Like nobody's really saying exactly what they need to say, what they need, what they want, everybody's kind of like following this construct of who you have to be to fit in a way, like what's accepted, what's the accepted social norm. And you start to pick up how everybody's kind of tense, how everybody's kind of unnatural, how everybody's like not really like relaxed in themselves, like just comfortable. Like you feel it when the room goes silent, like who is comfortable just being? Like it really uncovers in the silence, because then you notice like no one is. Everybody's so uncomfortable, like but then you also have like the few ones that actually are comfortable. Like I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they had like some kind of very, very safe childhood, or got brought up with very healthy emotional knowledge and understanding, and how to really be with themselves. And yeah, there is people like that, but the main kind of stream when you're out there in the field is like it's this angst everywhere. And my journey, when I started to actually come into my body, because when I was up in my mind, I was kind of blocking it out. I was just like living out my version of how to deal with that, but not feel it, but just like how to create my kind of behavioral pattern that would fit into that construct, so that I would fit in and not experience any uncomfortableness or all of this. So then when I started to come into my body, I had to feel the things that I had been like not feeling. I had to start to feel how I actually felt when I was in a room with people. I had to feel how I was actually feeling in this kind of situation and that kind of situation. And like I started gaining all this knowledge about how I actually was feeling and what I was picking up. And it's not just me feeling, I was feeling the whole entire room, and that's very intense. I was kind of like living up here not to feel it. And that goes to say, like, it's not scary to be sensitive. It's not like then you have to feel what everybody else feels. You have to take in all that energy. Like there is all this like kind of stuff out there now about like being hypersensitive, or being empaths, or like the ones that take in all other people's emotions. Like you're not supposed to be like that in a way. Like you are. There's definitely these beings on the planet now, and more becoming so much more emotionally awakened and attuned and sensitive, which is a beautiful thing. But then it's like we have to learn to be these energetic beings, and not just kind of like be these floaty energetic beings that have no borders, so you can take in all the energies everywhere and just like feel everything. Like you can, that's kind of the training ground. If you want to really work with that, you eventually learn with your energetic system how to master that energy in a way, like how to take in energy when you want to, and how to not when you don't need to, when there's no point, when it's not like you have to take in all the energy of a room. If you really stand in your own energetic integrity, then energy don't really come into your system. It's really how you stand in yourself in a way. It's a process. And I think, like, for all the sensitives on the planets, and for more and more of us awakening and just realizing who we are and this emotional intelligence, and how we actually are sentient, we are sensing, we are beings that before the physical we are energy, we are spirit inhabiting a physical body. So before the matter you are energy, instead of the opposite, like I'm mostly matter, I'm mostly physical, and I'm a little bit energy. Like, you are energy. Your nature is to be this fluid, floating thing that feels and sends energy. But when I was living up in my mind, I was not sensing anything because I couldn't feel my body. So I had no emotional intelligence. I didn't know how to digest emotions, deal with emotions, allow myself to feel emotions, allow myself to express and show my true emotions. And then the descent. The big descent into my body, and it was a process, learning how to feel. And in the beginning, like I said, it was a little overwhelming and intense because I had to take in all the things I actually felt that I had tried to block out for so long. So then being in a room with people was really overwhelming, and for a long time I had to really kind of afterwards do all these kind of things, energetic hygiene, if you will, to kind of rebalance as I was learning more and more how to be in a room, be this energetic being that first and foremost was energy. And it has been a long journey then to really realize and work with how to stand there in your own energy, so that you don't have to take in all the energies or be moved by the energy, because it can only move you if you're not standing firmly in your own center, you know? So then I had to really uncover how to stand firmly in myself, and what was making me not stand so firmly in myself. What was my beliefs, where I was under some kind of illusion about myself and who I really am. And then when I was starting to feel my body, I started also feeling like what following your joy or following your bliss actually is. Like when you don't feel your body, you maybe search pleasures from the mind, like what is this kind of like very quick fix to some kind of stimuli that the mind craves. But when you start to feel your body, you start to feel what's pleasurable in so many ways. Like how the peculiar shape of the water from the shower, if you like adjust the shower head, if you have the kind of shower head where you can adjust the amount of water coming out with a certain pressure, like how that feels in different places in your body. Like you start to uncover when you walk past a door, what's it called, like the thing on the ground that you walk over when you have a door. Like you start to notice how that feels when you press it there into your foot, or you start to feel all these kind of bodily pleasures. which first begin like that, like begin like physical actual experience of pleasure around you in the environment. But then you start to notice you can actually follow this as a navigational system. Like it started for me with nature walks, actually, because maybe it's a very simple place to follow it, because you don't have so much constructed beliefs around where you should go in the forest, as a metaphor for like life. Like in general, like life in general, there's so much belief about what's right, what's wrong, where you should walk, and da da da. So it's not as easy to follow, like what feels right here, because there's so many programs that start to turn on around fear, like no, you cannot do that, no, you won't survive, and no, nobody else is doing that. And then, so for me, it started with nature walks, where I was just like walking around nature off the beaten path, and I would just follow my heart. I was just like, over there, it's pulling me, or what's there? It's piquing my curiosity, or it feels really lovely to walk there. Oh, that place feels like a nice energy. And I was just following that, like learning to follow my heart. Like that's really in the center of it. The center of the whole sensory system in your body is your heart, like what your heart picks up. Even science now can confirm this is an apparatus that picks up information before your mind. There's some research actually proving that they were showing pictures on a computer screen coming like quickly, and they would pick up the electrical impulses. I don't know the exact science of it, but they could see that the heart, before the picture came up, could sense, could give off some kind of reaction to the picture coming. Like it was like the heart even had like this intuitive sense. It was psychic in a way. Like before the picture was showing on the screen, then some kind of reaction had already started to the different kind of pictures that was being shown. And this reaction came before the mind. So the heart picks up information before your mind. And the heart picks up incredible amounts of information you're not even aware of. Like it picks up all the different vibrations in a room, in an environment, in a tone, in a vibration, in a voice, in an expression. Like it picks up so much. It's not just your heart, it's your whole nervous system, your whole sensory being, your whole system that reads energy. Like, you know, when you walk into a room and you sense vibes, like that's that system. And I was starting in the forest to just practice this, like following this inspiration of the heart, this learning to follow something else. Then you have to do this because of that, you have to do that because you have to be better, you have to do that to survive, you have to. It was like, it was not fear-based. Then I was learning the system. I started actually, like, it started naturally integrating into everyday life in a way, like in regards of what food to eat, or have different choices, or how it felt to be around people, or different types of people, or like I even do it with reading books. I mean, everybody's different, everybody has their own GPS system, but for me it's like I feel this kind of like pull towards a certain book, suddenly an inspiration, and I just open the book to where I'm kind of just inspired to do, and it's amazing what happens. Like I always open the book and there's like just a little segment I read, and exactly that segment is the next puzzle piece of what I need to know in a way. Of where I am in my understanding of things, of life, of some kind of knowledge I'm diving more into, or it's really so much more divinely aligned than following the system of like, I have to read that book because I have to become more knowledgeable about that, because that will make me smarter, and that will make me survive. If you want to do the whole mathematical equation really quickly, it always ends up like survive. Like all the old construct of like survival is like more fear-based, but now we're shifting into following this other kind of it's a new world that we are creating, when there's not really necessary to follow this fear-based mentality. It's like, it's what the hippies call the age of Aquarius, or the new age people is like the new age, or there's so many different names for this, but there's a shift happening on the planet, like the awakening, and I for sure can feel it, like physically inside of me. All the shifts and things happening, yeah, like it can maybe be hard to understand the concept of following your joy and following your heart, but if you start to really come into your body, you actually start to experience it. Like the amazing thing of following this guidance system, like it really leads you to what you need. It leads you, this body knows exactly what you need at all times. It's a genius. It's like, I don't even think we can begin to cope how genius it actually is. And it knows what you need in regards to nutrition of food, but when you live up here, like, I need those vitamins, I need this and I need that, and let me tell you, like, I studied nutrition. I was like the worst when it came to like nutrition. Mine, but it was just like stress. It was just like, I need that, no, now I ate the wrong thing and I'm lacking that. And instead of just following like what your body guides you towards, it's not you have two tastes. You have like the mental stimuli taste, like I want a quick fix of like salty potato chips, or what the body feels is delicious, like actually delicious, like the good vibration, rich, nurturing, delightful, full of taste, abundant, like that kind of good. Like your body knows what it wants, and sometimes the body, like in rare occasions, it's actually potato chips it needs, because of some kind of, it just wants the crunchiness, because it reminds you of that, and it takes you into an emotional vibration that fits where you are, or like it can be a million different reasons, but the intelligence of the body is so organic and so fluid. But if you dare to follow it and trust it, it actually takes you down this path of following your path. Like it's the GPS, it's the physical GPS, but it's also this vibrational GPS of you aligning to the vibration that rings true for you, where you feel the best, where you feel aligned to who you are, and where you start to uncover your path in this life, instead of walking this path of where you just walking this path to survive, to do what's right, to follow the kind of societal norm of how you have to do things, when you know you have this kind of yearning in your heart that tells you differently, and we don't give it that much authority. But this thing, it's like the most authoritative thing that you can ever begin to start following or listening to. It's like the thing. And now it's time to shift. It's time to shift from like giving this thing the authority, because it's full of nonsense. It's full of fear and stress, and it's not like, it's a great it's like the yogis say, this thing is like a wild horse. It runs crazy all over the place, like a monkey mind. It's just like but if you let it in charge, it's just like, no, it's not a good life. It's just like, you're just following these fears and these survival programs and this like planning. And when you can have this as a servant, it's brilliant, it's amazing. It's brilliant as a servant, but not at the top of the hierarchy. Like the top of your hierarchy is this inner GPS of your body in the center, centered around your heart, like the sensory system of what you feel. Back to that kind of like feeling vibration. It's like through that system of like when you walk into a room and you feel the vibe, like that's your guidance system. You can follow that. You can follow the good vibes. You can follow the vibes that feel really nice. You can follow the food that vibes with you. You can follow the different choices and the people that vibes with you. You can make your choices where they really vibe and ring true to you, because they are a mirror to who you are. So that's all. You are so worthy of following your pleasure, your joy, what delights you, what feels really, really good to you. That's who you are. That's what you came here for. So, namaste.